Today I'll share a few of my thoughts about Dr. Sarah Hallberg. Unless you are fairly new to the whole concept of eating low carb, you probably have heard of Dr. Sarah Hallberg. There's a pretty good chance that you have seen her famous TED Talk video on YouTube, where in about 17 or 18 minutes, she just obliterates the notion that low carb doesn't work for diabetes. And I saw that video several years ago. She didn't make a convert of me because I was already a convert. I was already well into the low-carb lifestyle. But I can remember thinking she really said this well. In such a short time, she just pretty much laid out everything you need to know about why the low-carb lifestyle and low-carb approach is so right for people that struggle with blood sugar. So I wanted to share a few thoughts from the Virta Health organization. They put out a statement about her passing. I believe it was Monday of this week. And then I'll share a few of my own thoughts. They say, with heaviest of hearts, we want to share that our dear friend and colleague, Dr. Sarah Hallberg, has passed away from lung cancer. We are devastated. Our deepest sympathies go out to her family, friends, and loved ones. And let me echo my amen to that. I actually talked to Dr. Hallberg once several years ago. I was going to fly up and see her and interview her. It didn't work out, so I never did actually get to meet her. But she's a neat lady, and she had, I believe at that time, which wasn't all that long ago, a couple of children. So our sympathies, our condolences to her family. They go on to say, Sarah has been open about her condition. In 2020, she explained what it was like to live with stage 4 lung cancer during a pandemic, despite having never smoked and only being in her 40s. So one of those very strange things. Here, lung cancer is supposed to happen to people that smoke all the time, and she never smoked, and yet she got it. They go on to say, then again, if you knew Sarah, you wouldn't be surprised. She repeatedly beat the odds. Oh, the statement before was, given the grim prognosis several years ago, which was stage 4 cancer, it's remarkable that she lived until today. So she lived probably quite a bit longer than they were expecting that she would. Virta Health, the organization that she was involved with, said Sarah became a principal investigator in our 5-year clinical trial and co-author of more than a dozen manuscripts and articles. She's been a leading voice in fighting for a better life for those living with diabetes and other metabolic diseases. She has spoken to congressional members, CEOs, physicians, and nearly every influential group you can think of to advocate on behalf of the patient. She literally rocked the world of diabetes care. Yeah, she did. As I mentioned, she is a general in the army of low carb, really one of the leading voices, not only because of that powerful TED Talk, but because of her work with Virta Health. So, a sad thing, and let me just share a few of my thoughts. Some people wonder, how could she die of cancer? She advocated low-carb eating. We assume she was very low-carb in her own personal diet. And doesn't low-carb protect from cancer? And most of us who are in the low-carb camp are convinced that eating low-carb will help you in regards to a number of different afflictions. Diabetes is, of course, the one that I emphasize in this YouTube channel. But it can help you with fighting heart disease. It can help you protecting against a stroke, with kidney failure, with dementia, and yes, with cancer. So there is no doubt that by lowering your carbs, you increase the odds of living a healthy, long life. But anybody who has any sense knows that life has no guarantees. And there's just no way you can say, well, if I eat low carb, I'll never have a health affliction and I'll live to be 99 and I'll never be sick until I finally pass away in my bed at the age of 99 or 101 or whatever. Life is not that simple. Our bodies are complex. They are quite complicated. And there's a whole lot of things that can go wrong, and there are no guarantees. I can't make you a guarantee. Nobody can. I can pretty much guarantee that if you go from a standard diet to a low-carb diet, you will lower your glucose levels. That I can almost guarantee. Almost, not quite. But there's a lot of things we cannot guarantee, and there's nobody can tell you you won't get cancer. Now, there are vegans that say cancer comes from eating meat. Well, if that were true, no vegans would ever get cancer. And there are vegans and vegetarians that say that diabetes comes from eating meat. If that were true, no vegetarians, no vegans would ever become diabetic. That's not true. I hear from vegans and vegetarians frequently, or people who were formerly that way, saying, I'm a raging diabetic. So there are no guarantees. Basically, when we tell you that if you go low carb and you keep those carbohydrates down, you will be living more naturally. What we're saying is you will increase the odds dramatically for a long, healthy life. Not a guarantee, but you will surely be more likely to live that long, healthy life than you would be if you went around with sky-high blood sugar levels. That we can almost guarantee will not lead to a long, healthy, happy life. Well, maybe you'll be happy. I don't know if you can be happy in sickness, but definitely not a long and healthy life if you've got sky-high blood sugar. It'll get you sooner or later. So we can almost guarantee that, but we cannot guarantee the reverse, which is if you keep your glucose low and keep your insulin low and keep out of the diabetic range, that automatically guarantees you will live for a long time. We can't do that. One thought I had was, it's kind of ironic that Sarah Hallberg, who blessed so many people, and I'm convinced there will be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, that will live that long, healthy, happy life because of Sarah. They saw her TED Talk, they read her articles, they saw her on giving videos and talks and so forth. And they were converted to the low-carb lifestyle as a result of her. And they will live to be old men and old women because of Sarah, and yet she herself did not make it out of her 40s. It is ironic, but you know, there is something more than living to be old. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. And that is living to bless people, making your life a blessing to others is really far more important. Better someone who lives to be 45 and blesses thousands than some selfish person who lives to be 99 but never blesses anybody and is only thinking about me, me, me. So Sarah Hallberg has been a great blessing to the diabetic community. Lots of people have found good health and will live to be very old as a result of her. And I want to honor her and say she was a great, great woman in this field of beating diabetes. And you would not do wrong to type in Sarah Hallberg on YouTube and watch some of her videos. If you've already seen them, maybe watch them again.
If you've recently been diagnosed with diabetes and you've just discovered this channel, let me recommend that you go to our Uploads page, which will give you access to every diabetic video we've posted since we began. As you work your way through all our videos, I believe you'll find the help you need. A link to our Uploads page is in the description.